Namaste, Dandavat Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master Viṣṇupad Paramahamsa, Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Mahārāja, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 20, Text 14. Shreya Prajapalanam Evaragyo Yatsamparaye Sukritat Shastam Amsam Artanyata Hrita Punya Prajanam Arakshita Karaharo Gamati. To give protection to the general mass of people who are citizens of the state is the prescribed occupational duty for a king. By acting in that way, the king in his next life shares 1/6 of the results of the pious activities of the citizens. But a king or executive head of state who simply collects taxes from the citizens, but does not give them proper protection as human beings, has the results of his own pious activities taken away by the citizens, and in exchange for his not giving protection, he becomes liable to punishment for the impious activities of his subjects. Purport. The question may be raised here that if everyone engaged in spiritual activities to attain salvation and become indifferent to the activities of the material world, if everyone may be engaged in those activities for salvation and to become indifferent to the activities of the material world, then how could things go on as they are? And if things are to go on as they ought to, how can a head of state be indifferent to such activities? In answer to this question, the word Shreya, auspicious, is used here. The division of activities in society is arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which was not blindly or accidentally created as foolish people say. The Brahmana must do his duty properly, and the Kshatriya and Vaishya, and even the Sudra, must do the same. And every one of them can achieve the highest perfection of life, liberation from this material bondage. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 18.45. Sve sve karmanya bhirata samshidhim labate nara. By executing one's prescribed duties, one can attain the highest perfection. Lord Viṣṇu advised Mahārāja Pṛthu that a king is not enjoined to give up his kingdom and the responsibility of protecting the prajas or citizens, to instead go away to the Himalayas for liberation. He can attain liberation while executing his royal duties. The royal duty, or the duty of the head of state, is to see that the prajas, or the general mass of people, are doing their respective duties for spiritual salvation. A secular state does not necessitate a king or head of state who is indifferent to the activities of the prajas. In the modern state, the government has many rules and regulations for conducting the duties of the prajas, but the government neglects to see that the citizens advance in spiritual knowledge. If the government is careless in this matter, the citizens will act whimsically without any sense of God realization or spiritual life, and thus become entangled in sinful activities. An executive head should not be callous to the welfare of the general mass of people while he simply goes on collecting taxes. The king's real duty is to see that the citizens gradually become fully Krishna conscious. Krishna conscious means completely free from all sinful activities. As soon as there is complete eradication of sinful activities in the state, then there will be no more war, pestilence, famine, or natural disturbances. This was actually prevailing during the reign of Mahārāja Yudhisthira. If a king or head of government is able to induce the citizens to become Krishna conscious, then he is worthy to rule over the mass of people. Otherwise, he has no right to levy taxes. If the king looks after the spiritual interests of the citizens, he can levy taxes without difficulties. In this way, both the subjects and the king will be happy during this life and in the next. In the next life, the king will be able to share 1/6 of the pious activities of the citizens. Otherwise, by levying taxes on the sinful citizens, he will have to share the reactions of their sinful activities. The same principle can be applied to parents and spiritual masters as well. If parents simply give birth to children like cats and dogs, but cannot save their children from imminent death, they become responsible for the activities of their animalistic children. Lately, such children are turning into hippies. Similarly, if a spiritual master cannot direct his disciples to become free of sinful activities, he becomes responsible for their sinful acts. These subtle laws of nature are known to the present leaders of society. Since the leaders of society have a poor fund of knowledge and the citizens in general are rogues and thieves, there cannot be an auspicious situation for human society. At the present moment, the whole world is full of such an incompatible combination of state and citizens, and therefore there is constant tension, war, and anxiety as an inevitable result of such social conditions. Text 15. Evam dvijagayanu matanu vrita dharma pradhano niyatomo vichaya prasvena kalena grihopayatan drastasi siddhan anurakta loka. Lord Viṣṇu continued, my dear King Pṛthu, if you continue to protect the citizens according to the instructions of the learned Brahmana authorities as they are received, by disciplic succession, by hearing from master to disciple, and if you follow the religious principles laid down by them without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoction, then every one of your citizens will be happy and will love you, and very soon you will be able to see such already liberated personalities as the four Kumars, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumar. Purport. Lord Viṣṇu advised King Pṛthu that everyone should follow the principles of Varnashram Dharma. Then, in whatever capacity one remains within this world, his salvation is guaranteed after death. In this age, however, since the system of Varnashram Dharma is topsy-turvy, it is very difficult to strictly follow all the principles. The only method for becoming perfect in life is to develop Krishna consciousness. As Varnashram Dharma is executed from different positions by different men, so the Krishna consciousness principles can be followed by everyone in every part of the world. There is a specific purpose in mentioning herein that one should follow the Vijagrayas. The most prominent Brahmanas like Parasara and Manu. These great sages have already given us instructions on how to live according to the principles of Varnashram Dharma. Similarly, Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami have given us rules and regulations for becoming pure devotees of the Lord. It is essential, therefore, to follow the instructions of the acharyas in the parampara system, who have received the knowledge as passed down from spiritual master to disciple. In this way, although living in our material condition of life, we can get out of the entanglement of material contamination without leaving our positions. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises, therefore, that one does not have to change his position. One simply has to hear from the perfect source, this is called parampara, and follow the principles for practical application in life. Thus one can attain the highest perfection of life, liberation, and go back home, back to Godhead. In other words, the change required is a change in consciousness, not in the body. Unfortunately, in this fallen age, people are concerned with the body and not with the soul. They have invented so many isms pertaining to the body only, not to the body only, and not to the soul. In the modern age of democracy, there are so many government representatives voting for legislation. Every day they bring out a new law, but because these laws are only mental concoctions manufactured by inexperienced, conditioned souls, they cannot give relief to human society. Formerly, although the kings were autocrats, they strictly followed the principles laid down by great sages and saintly persons. There were no mistakes in ruling over the country, and everything went perfectly. The citizens were completely pious, the king levied taxes legitimately, and therefore the situation was very happy. At the present moment, the so-called executive heads are more or less selected from materially ambitious persons who simply look after their own personal matters. They have no knowledge of the Shastras. In other words, the executive heads are fools and rascals in the strict sense of the terms, and the people in general are Sudras. This combination of fools and rascals and Sudras cannot bring about peace and prosperity in this world. Therefore, we need periodic upheavals in society in the forms of battles, communal riots, and fratricidal quarrels. Under these circumstances, not only are the leaders unable to lead the people toward liberation, but they cannot even give them peace of mind. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that anyone who lives on concocted ideas without reference to the Shastras never becomes successful and does not attain happiness or liberation after death. Text 16. Param chamat kanchana manavendra vrinisvateham guna shila yantrita naham makarbhai shulabhastapobir yogena vayat samachittavarti. My dear king, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior, and thus I am very favorably inclined toward you. You may therefore ask me for any benediction you like. One who does not possess elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor simply by performance of sacrifices, severe austerities, or mystic yoga, but I always remain equipoised in heart of one who is also equipoised in all circumstances. Purport. Lord Viṣṇu was very pleased with Maharaj Pṛthu's good character and behavior, and offered him a benediction. The Lord openly says that performing great sacrifices or undergoing austerities of mystic yoga practice cannot satisfy him. He is pleased only by elevated character and behavior. But these cannot develop unless one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. Anyone who has developed unalloyed, unflinching devotional service unto the Lord develops his original qualities, his good qualities, the original good qualities as spirit soul. The spirit soul, as part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has all good qualities of the Lord. When the spirit soul is contaminated by material modes of nature, one is considered good or bad with reference to material qualities. But when one is transcendental to all material qualities, all the good qualities come out. These qualities of a devotee, 26 in number, are listed as follows. 1. Kind to everyone. 2. Does not quarrel with anyone. 3. Fixed in the absolute truth. 4. Equal to everyone. 5. Faultless. 6. Charitable. 7. Mild. 8. Clean. 9. Simple. 10. Benevolent. 11. Peaceful. 12. Completely attached to Krishna. 13. Has no material hankering. 14. Meek. 15. Steady. 16. Self-controlled. And 17. Does not eat more than required. 18. Sane. 19. Respectful. 20. Humble. 21. Grave. 22. Compassionate. 23. Friendly. 24. Poetic. 25. Expert. 26. Silent. The Lord is satisfied by development of the transcendental qualities of the living entity, and not by artificial performance of sacrifices and mystic yoga. In other words, unless one is fully qualified to become a pure devotee of the Lord, one cannot expect to be liberated from material entanglement. Text 17. Maitreya uvacha saitam loka guruna vishvakshenena vishvajit anushasita adesham shirasa jagre he Hare. The great Saint Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, in this way Mahārāja Pṛthu, the conqueror of the entire world, accepted the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead on his head. Purport. One should accept the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by bowing down at his lotus feet, bowing down at the lotus feet of the Lord. This means that anything spoken by the Personality of Godhead should be taken as it is, with great care and attention and with great respect. It is not our business to amend the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or make additions or alterations, as it has become custom for so many so-called scholars and swamis who comment on the words of Bhagavad Gita. Here, the practical example of how to accept the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is shown by Pṛthu Maharaj. This is the way to receive knowledge through the Parampara system. Okay, and thus ends our reading for today. We will continue on text 18 on Wednesday. I'm sorry, we won't be having class on Wednesday, so on Friday. Jai Viṣṇupād Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Mahārāja ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shanta Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Our glories to the assembled devotees, our glories to the worldwide devotees, Sama Bhakti Veda Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Navadvip Dham ki Jai, Nishingapuri Dham ki Jai, Mayapur Dham ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham ki Jai, Jagannath Bali Subhadra Ju ki Jai. Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Kartik Parikram ki Jai. Jai Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham ki Jai, Shamkund Radhakund ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi ki Jai. Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki Jai, Scientific Sankirtan Yagya ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Institute ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai, Nitai, Gaura Premanandi Hari 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 Bol, Jai Sripad Ananda Krishna Prabhu ki Jai.
Jai Sripad Krishna Keshava Prabhu ki Jai. Shrabani Bhattacharya ki Jai.
I don't know if Shrabani wants to say anything or introduce himself. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.